Hey all, welcome to Till You Make It Girl. Not the it girl, the fake it till you make it girl. So today's story is entitled The Audition Room. So quick background for those of you who aren't in show business. I am a struggling, unrepresented, don't have an agent, don't have a manager, anything. Wink wink, people watching, hey. So I don't have a lot of opportunities to audition and find work. Now, there are a couple of websites that anyone can join for a certain amount a month, blah, 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 that gives you these auditions. So I was on one of these websites, and the way they work is you just apply to anything that's just at all close to you. Blonde, brunette, age, weight, height. You can fudge the numbers a little. Don't fudge race. People do that. That's weird. Don't. So I go on to my email and I see that something I've applied to wants me to come in and audition. Usually these things say, where and when they want you to be there and also the title of the project. However, this one does not have a title. All it says is, and I quote, "New sitcom by well-known director shooting soon." So I figure, whatever, it's some grad student project. So I find the audition location and I drive out to it this Saturday evening, and it's way the heck out there in a neighborhood I've never been to. And not only that, it's a pretty sketchy little neighborhood. And I've grown up all over. I've seen some places. So when I say sketch, I don't mean like, oh no, people there ride the bus unironically. What I mean is it's pretty sketch. So I find a parking place along the street, and the entire street is closed barber shops. The one I park in front of is also closed, but I can hear two men yelling at each other from inside. Fortunately, there was still like an hour left on the meter, so win-win. And I go and I try and find the theater. Well, I find it, and here's a photo of what it looked like. Which, if you can't read the little sign on, says something to the effect of auditions come round back. So I go, okay, this is where I die. Not like, this is where I die in a horror movie, but like, this is where I die. Well, I walk around back because I don't have any self-preservation instincts, or I'd be a doctor or a lawyer, not an actor. And there are, in fact, people there waiting to audition, so it's either a much better trap than I thought, or not a trap at all. And the way most auditions work is when you get there, there's a sign-in sheet. Okay, this place has a sign-in sheet. And if you haven't been provided with them before, there will also be what are called sides, which are just the parts of the script you're going to be reading for the audition. I had not been provided with these beforehand, so there are also sides. And then finally, occasionally, when you go to an audition, there will be a little questionnaire. And usually it's like, height, weight, shoe size, shirt size, dress size, etc. So they already have that information on hand. Well, there is also a questionnaire here. And as I start reading, I notice that the questions are slightly different. Here are the questionnaire questions in full. So it starts out at the top, name, date, phone number, email, agency contact, if any. Okay, pretty standard. We're doing all right. Please answer the following questions. 1. How long have you studied acting? Okay, I write, since I was a kid. 2. Can you commit to 4 to 5 weeks of rehearsal? Now, this is when my little spidey sense starts tingling because for small stuff, there's not usually much, if any, rehearsal. But I'm thinking, okay, I'm still thinking this is a grad student thing. Maybe this is something they printed off the web. It's designed for theater. Cool. So I write, depends on the number of days a week / hours. Great. Number 3, do you have any experience with public relations? I put a dash. 4, do you think you'll have any problems to rehearse the same scenes over and over? For example, 50, brackets, numeral 50, times. And now the spidey sense is really going off. So I write, but I still want the job. So I write, my background is in theater, I'll be fine. Number 5, what do you know about feature film production? Answer, how to act in it, nothing technical. 6, What do you know about comedy TV sitcom production? Answer. How to act in it. Nothing technical. 7. For men only. Do you have any issues taking your shirt off? 8. For men only. Do you have any issues with taking your outer clothes off? 9. For women only. Do you have any issues with taking your outer clothes off? I don't know why they didn't combine 8 and 9, just whatever. Anyway. So I write, outer, fine. Underwear stays on. 10. Would you be willing to play a part of a vampire in a movie? Now, here's the part that I love, because I'm thinking about this, and I'm seeing someone going through and being like, yeah, I'll take my shirt off, yeah, I'll take my outer clothes off. Whoa, play a vampire? I don't think so, mister. So I write yes. 11. Would you like to be part of an actors club, which would be free of charge? It will meet every Saturday, time to be arranged. Answer, no. Right, well, it's about this point that I can hear yelling in this weird accent, like it's sort of French, but not. And the PAs come back to the back area, and there's like 2 or 3 of them, and they say, okay, guys, so what we're going to do now is have all of you, and there's about maybe 10 of us, we're going to have all of you go and slate for the camera now, and then you'll come back later and do your auditions. When you slate for the camera, it's when right before your audition you go, hi, my name is such and I'm auditioning for such and such character, and then you do your audition. And the point of this is that so when they're watching your tape, you don't just launch into the audition and they're like, wow, this girl is great, and then they're going through a pile of headshots trying to figure out who you are. So to slate separately from doing the audition makes no sense. But whatever, we all go up to the front, and the front part's, it's like a sitcom set. So there's sort of a living room and an office, and the whole wall is gone, except there's sort of a half wall with a door in it to the office part. And then sitting down the end is this guy in this really tall director chair, and he's sort of hunched over, and he's got this like long, stringy, dark hair, and he starts talking again, and it's in a weird accent thing. And I'm like, that guy looks really familiar. And we start slating one by one, and what he's having us do is go up, slate, and launch into a monologue, which again makes no sense. So I go up to slate, and he's got this like big, giant, glorious film camera sitting right there next to him. Well, instead of reading into that, one of the PAs is there with a little handheld camcorder. And so director guy says to me, oh, you're auditioning for... this is the best I can do, guys. Oh, you're auditioning for the such and such part. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, it's a British character. Can you do British accent? My British is awful. But I'm starting to get an inkling of who I think this guy is. So I go, well, sir, I must admit that, yes, I can do a British accent. However, I'm much better at improvisation in standard American English. So he goes, oh, wow, that was fantastic. Great. So I slate, and then I start telling this story from my life of when I went caving in West Virginia with a bunch of rednecks, but in the British accent. While we're waiting for everyone to slate, I figure out, oh my God, this is Tommy Wiseau. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, Tommy Wiseau wrote, directed, and starred in The Room, which, when people are making a list of the worst movies ever, is the undisputed champ. Undisputed champ. Worst film ever made. And there he is. And so I'm like, I'm not 100%, I'm like 80% sure that's who it is. So I pull out my phone, take a little photo of him, and send it to a friend of mine who has like seen The Room, I think, 8 times now. And this woman behind me is like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'll tell you later. Trust me. So I send my friend the photo, and she's like, oh my God, this Tommy Wiseau. And I'm like, are you sure? And she's like, are you sure? So I'm testing back and forth. Well, at the same time, Tommy is having the PA explain to the first 2 guys who slated that they're now going to be auditioning by doing an improv scene against each other because we've just totally thrown all of the sides out the window because why not? This is a Tommy Wiseau audition. And I'm just texting back and forth with my friend because I'm not involved in any of this, and this is amazing. And all of a sudden I hear, "Hey, c'est your telephone." And I look up, and Tommy Wiseau is glaring at me. And he goes, "Do you have something better to be doing? Are we keeping you from something? Is that something important?" And I go, "Yeah, it's a little important." And he's like, blah, 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 and he's going off at me for being on my cell phone at a point when no one is talking to me and I am not involved in anything that is going on. But whatever. I put my cell phone away, and the woman behind me is like, "It's okay. It's not your fault." And I'm like, "No, no, no. I just got yelled at by Tommy Wiseau." And she's like, "Who?" And I'm like, "Again, trust me here. This is going to be great." And it's now my turn and the woman behind me's turn. So the PA explains it's going to be a scene in a hallway. She's going to be a creepy woman. I'm going to be someone who doesn't want to talk to a creepy woman. And what I have to do is open the door and close the door. She'll already be on the set. So I go in and I open the door and I close the door onto the set. And Tommy goes, "Oh no, stop, stop, stop. That was very good though. Very good with the door." So I go, "Okay." So we reset, and I open the door, and I close the door, and then we start improvising a scene where she's a creepy woman and I don't want to talk to her. And there's not a lot you can do with improvisation when people don't want to talk to each other, and it keeps going on and on and on, and I'm like, is this scene never going to end? And he's still not filming with the big camera. The PA is just coming in and like walking around with a little handheld camcorder, and then I hear Tommy go, "You, come in, you're in scene now too." And some other person comes in, and so now I have two creepy people that I don't want to talk to, and it just doesn't end. So after about what feels like 8 minutes at least, Tommy's like, "Okay, very good, you all do very, very good. And you, I will call you cellular telephone. Ha 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 ha." And then we leave. And we walk out the door, and y'all, it is like Orpheus exiting Hades. We are not looking left, we are not looking right, we are not looking back until we hit the sunlight. Unlike Orpheus, we make it, we hit sunlight, and the woman turns to me and goes, "Okay, what was that?" So me and the guy explain, "Yeah, guy from The Room, it's this awful movie, blah, 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 blah." We all go our separate ways. I'm walking back to my car. The two guys are still yelling in the barber shop, and I stop and think, oh my God, what if I'm called back? Fortunately, that hasn't happened yet, but I live in fear of the telephone every day because Tommy Wiseau now has my contact information and has seen me act.